Just said that there just because that it's sitting there. But like I said, we are going to be watching this on everything here. João Pedro is going to score, mate. I think this is a great testimonial for, again, João Pedro. Did score the other day against Bayern Leverkusen. And that should be stated here. This is the second match in roughly 2 days. And I do believe AC Milan played yesterday against Leeds. So this is a quick turnaround for AC Milan. I don't expect them to come real strong in this match. So it really should be a testimonial for Chelsea in this match. And like I said, this is always a friendly, so we're going to probably play a few different players throughout the entire match. I'm not expecting a big bloat or anything, but if we score a few goals, obviously that's great. Always good to keep a clean sheet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do give up a few goals because when we start making rotations in the second half, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised we do let up a goal. And obviously, AC Milan's still a good side. They have a few good players. I don't know. I missed their starting 11, but I know tomorrow they were just showing his starting, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. So, like I said, I'm kind of curious to see how they play against Chelsea because we always see ex-Chelsea players play against us and score goals. I wouldn't be surprised if they score a goal against us. Let's see here. I'm just looking at what you guys said. AC Milan are in shambles. Yeah, I haven't really been following AC Milan. I do apologize. I haven't followed really Serie A in a long time. And like I said, it is a friendly, so anything can happen in this match. And I feel like, yeah, AC Milan really have fallen off since like the early 2000s, but that's, I mean, a long time ago when they had a lot of great players. Obviously, the players they currently have are not in the same category as Maldini, Pirlo, just to name a few guys as well. Let me see. Encourage your viewers to share your live and invite. Okay, yeah, you guys can if you want to. All right, all right. We're kicking off in just a second. If you're on YouTube, be looking at the main screen here. So I have three screens going on. So feel free to ask any questions on YouTube. Um, yeah, looking forward to this. I think, like I said, this is a game that we are seeing our strongest 11 currently with Levy Colwell out. I mean, it's a big injury for us, which is a shame. And it looks like we're not going to be going for anyone. And it looks like Vega might be on his way out still, which is quite surprising because I thought for sure with now Coel being out, because he's going to be out for the majority of the season. We need a proper left center back. And it seems like it would have made sense for Vega to stick around and obviously try to win that position. And then who knows what could have happened. But for him as a player, I do understand though too, because he's probably looking at it that maybe, yes, it's one season at Chelsea. And then when Cowell comes back, that's his spot to take. And he's probably looking at if he can go somewhere else and just be the starting guy no matter what happens. I can't fault him for that. But right now, like I said, we're just seeing Chelsea kind of move the ball around a little bit. AC Milan, that's a nice little touch. Playing through the middle. They have a good attack here. And yeah, there we go. Caicedo, who's a phenomenal midfielder, as we all know, just winning that ball back. Cole Palmer with a beautiful ball. And okay, keeper coming out. Big Mike winning the ball. Yeah, I mean, João Pedro's not he's not as quick as we used to see with Timo Werner. If that was Werner, he's probably getting that ball. But a good idea from Cole Palmer to play that ball right through the middle. But yeah, let me see here. Yeah, if you guys have any comments on the match itself, like I said, I'm more than happy to read some of those comments. Not a great touch by Caicedo there. And hopefully, like I said, this match, I mean, yes, we want to see a few things happening here, but we do not want to see any injuries. That's the main thing for the most part. What do you think about Spurs this year coming? Again, Spurs, it should be an interesting season for them with Thomas Frank. I don't know what happens with the injuries they just picked up. I mean, James Madison, that was a big blow to Tottenham. That was going to be their creative player. I also think he was going to be their captain now that Son's been gone. So the fact that he's out now probably for the majority of the season too, I think it was an ACL injury to the same knee he hurt last season. They're going to have to go for someone because Kudos is going to be a good player for them. I think they're attacking third with Solanke. Brendan Johnson's pretty good. Kulusevski's still out though too, so they may struggle in the beginning part of the season. Once people get back to fully fit, I think Tottenham can be a good side. Do I think they're going to finish in the top five? No. But like I said, they can still be a good team that can still beat any team on any given day for the most part. All right. Rafael Leao. I forgot I mean, I feel like he hasn't done much for AC Milan as of lately. I feel like he's gone under the radar, which I'm kind of surprised teams didn't go for him. That's a good ball. Ooh, that's a heavy, heavy tackle on João Pedro. Yeah, he's definitely going to feel that. That is a heavy tackle by Tomori on João Pedro right there. Okay, he's all right though. That's I thought his ankle got stuck under him though, which would have been a huge issue for him. But speaking of João Pedro though, I mean, he's a guy that I'm kind of curious to see how well he stays fit this year. I think him and Liam Delap have had a few injuries here and there, which again, when we're looking at our depth for the most part, I know Nico Jackson's been kind of back and forth if he's going to stick around at Chelsea. It almost would make sense that we do keep him, though I think Newcastle is looking at him now, which makes sense. I mean, Isak's most likely on his way out. Jamie Giddens, oh, Jamie Giddens, I cannot wait for him to really see what he can do for us in the Premier League. He is so silky and smooth when it comes to his footwork. I do think he is an upgrade from Noni as well. Like again, I think he's very direct when he attacks. We just saw that right there. I mean, now this is a good set piece for us to do something. Reece James probably going to take it out from here. But going back to injuries wise, so Nico Jackson, like I said, I hope he does stick around, just because again, if we get hit with multiple injuries, Mark Gay, there we go, just went out to Sunderland. So like I said, we are kind of lacking attacking. Yeah, I think João Pedro is still feeling it for that attack, so I could see him possibly getting subbed out here early on because there's no point of risking anything major. He's definitely feeling it in his hip and low back there, which is a shame because I mean we're only 5 minutes into this match, but we don't need to risk any injuries to him for the most part. And it's a lovely ball, and we found the back of the net already. Reece James, I don't know if that was an own goal or if that was Enzo Fernandez, but that was a beautiful ball by Reece James. I'm looking forward to him constantly crossing the ball. Absolutely beautiful. We're playing right now. Yes, we're playing AC Milan in a friendly. This is our last friendly before next week against Crystal Palace, and just a beautiful ball. I would say there's maybe an issue on the goalkeeper there. He should probably be saving it and winning that ball. Playing the ball in, I think Cucurella, someone misses it there. It's just so clustered right in front of him. But I feel like, oh yeah, it's an own goal. Yeah, own goal there. But like I said, I think Big Mike should be coming out. That's so close to his line. He should be coming out and winning that ball. I understand he's sitting back just in case the ball gets whipped in closer, but really, that shouldn't be. He shouldn't be allowing that to get that close to his defender. But yeah, Cubis with an own goal there. Chelsea up 1-0 as of right now. I can't change anything here, so I wish I could put up the score here on YouTube. I don't have my OBS. OBS has not been working well for me as of lately on my computer. Otherwise, I would be putting that in the background for the most part. But like I said, London is red, bro. I mean, I'm trying to think the last time London, a red team, won anything in the Premier League. It's been almost half a decade. So going on to further than that, Chelsea have won multiple things in the last 5 years: Champions League, Club World Cup. So just naming a few things. Anyways, though, this, like I said, that now gives Chelsea the ability to really play freely. I mean, they have one goal now. Jamie Gittins trying to switch the field to Pedro Neto. Not as heavy of a ball played out to him, so AC Milan win it back here. But we already have numbers back, so I'm not too worried about here, though. Who scored? It was an own goal. Cubius, I could be mispronouncing his name, a defender for AC Milan. Reece James, lovely ball played in. Again, goalkeeper should have been coming out for. I'm not sure exactly why he's staying as back line. I would actually put up more to an error on him than the defender himself because it just dropped right in front of him. Nothing he could have done with it. And I believe it was Jamie Gittins that was in front of the cross that looked like he was about to get maybe just a slight touch on it, but didn't. And therefore, again, just dropped right to his feet. That is a lovely ball. It's 2-0. What a beautiful ball. João Pedro. We are up 2-0. This is what I'm saying. This team is electric. Like we are going to be seeing a lot of goals from Chelsea this season, and it's not just going to be from our forwards, from João Pedro, Liam Delap. I think there's so many different players on this team that can score goals, and I think that was Pedro Neto that played that ball in. I'll have to go back and watch that. But that was a beautiful cross too, and I mean, absolutely stunner of a header from João Pedro. Nothing they could have done about that. I mean, win the ball back in the midfield, quick out to Reece James, plays out to Pedro Neto, who again just kind of cuts it in here. Yeah, it's Pedro Neto. Beautiful ball. Just in between defenders. Nothing they could have done about that. That's just from front to back. That is a beautiful goal from Chelsea. And take nothing away from that header because that is a beautiful header, too. Big Mike diving the wrong way. From the first 9 minutes of this match, I might be happy that we did not sign him. I'm not sure why he's diving completely to the right. He should have been more standstill in the middle. Not that I don't think he would have saved that. That's just a beautiful finish. But two questionable things from the goalkeeper from AC Milan as of right now, and only 9 minutes into this match. Um, but yeah, I think, like I said, up 2-0, we should be easily, like I said, I think we're going to score quite a few goals this game. Just it's a testimonial game for Chelsea. They're presenting the Club World Cup. Jamie Gins on the left side playing, and yeah, touch going to be a corner kick here. That I think Chelsea really do want to just show what they have to value this season. So many fans at the stadium today at Stamford Bridge that I think we are going to play as strong as we possibly can. At some point, Liam Delop's definitely going to come in. I know there's been some talks about him being frustrated with João Pedro with how well he's been playing, but like I said, we obviously are happy to have both players. They're going to compete with each other and constantly, like I said, go back and forth. And I think it's good to have this type of competition. Ooh, not bad touch. Hit that. Oh, there we go. Cucurella, a little deflection. Yeah, there we go. Interesting corner kick there. We played short. Played out to played out to Casey, who played to Cucurella, which not a bad effort, but I mean, it got closed down pretty quickly. That is the one thing for Chelsea. One of the issues that we have is our set pieces. That yes, we're good with set piece takers. I wouldn't say we have the height to win a lot of aerial duels. I know we have Tosin, Chalba's pretty good, but minus those guys, we don't have too many players that can win the ball aerial wise off of set pieces. I mean, I know we just scored off a header with João Pedro, but like I said, if you're looking at the rest of our team, we're not too good in the air. Like if we're looking like say Arsenal, City, Liverpool, they have multiple players that can win the ball from their back line. What time? Right now it is 10 a.m. So I'm not sure where you're at, but this game kicked off at 3, I think it was 3 p.m. in London. Like I said, and this is our last friendly. So we after this match, we have a full week to rest up. So I think, like I said, the first 45 minutes, I wouldn't be surprised that, like I said, we have again Chelsea playing their best 11 right now, currently best 11, and then next half, I'm sure we're going to make a lot of substitutions. Whether that's the entire starting 11. Thank you for all the hearts, by the way. Thank you for all those. Like I said, we're just trying to get our legs nice and warm playing with this starting 11 so they have a little bit of chemistry for next week. I do think we go and smash Crystal Palace. I cannot see Crystal Palace being a team that really does too much against us, but it is the first game of the season. There's going to be a lot of high energy from both sides. So again, I'm really curious to see how that game goes. But what we're seeing from Chelsea, just not only in these two friendlies, but in recent matches in the Club World Cup, they are just a team that have been playing very well together. I mean, you go from the attacking third midfield to our back line, we're pretty solid for the most part. I would say that maybe, like I said, our attacking third is our weak point as of right now. I know people are going to say our defense is weak, but when you look at all the defenders we have, Reece James, Cucurella, right and left side, they're arguably the best right and left back in the Premier League. And I would even say with Tosin and Chalaba, it's still a good pairing as our CBs. Obviously, Colwell would be better, but I'm still happy with Tosin and Trevor Chalaba. And we still have a few other guys who can play there too. So just looking what you guys have here. So, like I said, I think Reece James is probably going to play 45 minutes. No reason to risk an injury with him. Cucurella definitely needs some rest too. I mean, the man's been playing out of his mind for a year and a half, but still needs some rest too. I mean, we definitely don't want to risk any injuries to either of those players. While we still have Malagusto that can play right and left side, we obviously want both those guys fully fit. Ooh, that's I wouldn't say the greatest kick from Sanchez, but it did work out. I mean, obviously it found who we wanted to find. And it seems like right now Chelsea definitely are really working that left side with Jamie Gittins. Not that we haven't been working the ball to Pedro on the right side. I do think this is definitely a match. We're trying to see what we can do with Jamie Gittins on this left side, which again is what we want to do with any type of friendlies, just because we definitely want to see what those players can do in these friendlies. Another poor touch by Sanchez, but again, it works out. Finds Pedro Neto, who again is going to be isolated on this right side, and just working, overlapping run, plays a Cole Palmer back to him, and it's a weak shot from Pedro Neto. Yeah, you can tell he's upset with that shot too. It was actually a pretty good opportunity that he could have done something with that. But anyways, like I was saying, that actually I always want to watch this highlight. So we're probably gonna, like I said, play the ball more to Jamie Gittins this first half, just so we can get some understanding of what he can possibly do. Give him some confidence too. I think he definitely needs a little bit of confidence. Not that he wasn't doing well last year in Bayfal Bay, but like I said, when you come to the Premier League, it is slightly different. Teams play a little bit differently. I think in the Bundesliga, you have more ability to be attacking, whereas in the Premier League, it's not always the case. So, like I said, I am curious what he can do this season, but I think he's going to be a great winger for Chelsea. And like I said, we have a few different options for winger wise that it's not lovely ball play to him, though. And yeah, he's just working his magic again. Gittins, like I said, we constantly are looking to play the ball. Then Cucurella wins the ball back outside. All right, we're going to play a little possession here. Recycling the ball back out to the right side. And like I said, with Chelsea, we're able to attack left and right side, which is kind of nice as of right now. We're not just solely working on the right side with Pedro Neto and Cole Palmer. We're able to work down this left side, which is nice to have. And we can obviously work down the middle here. Cucurella is pushing up too, not surprising here. He's kind of drifting in. I would say that we're definitely seeing Caicedo and Enzo drop back a little more. Trevor Chalaba also pushing up too. So it looks like Tosin's kind of just being the anchor for us as we're possession. Heavy touch by Chalaba, but still gets the ball off. Not the best 2-1-2 right there with Gittins and Cucurella, but that's all right. And then right now we're just pinning AC Milan back into their own box here. I'm not sure exactly what Tomori's trying to do here. Yeah, that's not good ball possession from AC Milan. Oh, Cole Palmer trying to go for the nutmeg right inside the box. Not a bad idea, actually, though, because had he done that, João Pedro was free on goal there. Yeah, but I'm not too sure what AC Milan was trying to do right there. That was some poor decisions from AC Milan. But I know someone mentioned before that AC Milan has been in shambles as of lately, so not too surprising that they've been struggling a little bit. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, though, taking the ball, driving towards not a bad ball. It's a terrible, terrible idea to take a shot there. Rafael Leao, I'm not sure why you would have taken that shot. I mean, it went out for a throw in, but there was nothing he could have done right there. Tosin pretty much had him absolutely defended. That was a terrible shot. Um, if you are new, if you're coming in here, we are just doing the watch along. So again, not having obviously the game due to I don't want anything to happen for this live. But like I said, we are watching the game, commentating the entire match here. It is a friendly for Chelsea. So again, we're probably going to see everything get rotated here, probably the next 20 to 30 minutes. We're in the 17th minute currently for this match. But like I said, we are seeing a pretty good side from Chelsea right now. We're playing, that's a beautiful ball crossed in, but won by Reece James, played out by João Page, or play out by Sanchez. Oh, I was going to say Cole Palmer definitely, like I said, had the opportunity right there to drive into that. I'm just saying, yeah, we have a little bit of feed going on here. Um, that's a beautiful ball. Great stop by Sanchez there. And this is what Sanchez brings to the table. I think sometimes people are going to harp on Sanchez, and yes, he did just have two bad passes like right before that. Sanchez has got to be one of the best shot stoppers right now in the Premier League. I mean, if you're looking at what he offers as a goalkeeper, he's phenomenal at shot stopping. Now, does that still lead to possibly goals? Yes, but that's a great save right there. It's a well hidden shot. And then Rafael Leao just struggling there again. Oh, here we go. Are we giving a card for that? That might. I feel like that's a red card. I mean, it's a friendly. Probably shouldn't be given a red card there, but that's clear on goal. It's got to be a dog though. So let's see what's coming out here. It's a friendly. I feel like a yellow should be warranted for a friendly. If that was Premier League, yeah, it's a red. It's a red. Yeah, I was gonna say that's from bad to worse. Own goal and now a red card for AC Milan in this match. So Chelsea are just going to have just a free for all for the rest of this. We have pretty much 70 minutes of playing against 10 men. We're up 2-0. This, I mean, I feel like it's just gonna be an absolute disaster class for AC Milan. Yeah, ball play over the top by, again, Sanchez. Yeah, that's clearly a red card. João Pedro just getting the best of him right there. Just I feel like what he did there was actually very tactical from João Pedro. Started running one way to fake like the ball was going that way, and then just spun him for the most part. So yeah, he's holding, bringing him down, everything to possibly stop João Pedro. And like I said, that's bad for worse for Kubis. Own goal, red card in the first 19 minutes of the match for him. Can't imagine you can have a worse start for your club. And again, it's only a friendly. Not that it really matters too much. And it's not like it was a dirty tackle. It was just a dog. So nothing you can do about that. He's trying to prevent him from doing anything. But in that, it's just a friendly. Just let it go. If it leads to another goal, so be it. To now be down to 10 men for AC Milan, Chelsea are just going to absolutely run wild on this. And it's a shame because now, tactic wise, even for Chelsea, it's hard to say if this is going to be what we really want to see because now that we're playing against 10 men, it's almost going to be like a practice match now. We're not even be able to do everything that we want to do just because, again, you're not even going up the right tactics from AC Milan now. I think Cole Palmer setting up for this one for a free kick, which I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought Reece James would have set up for this free kick. Just with the first set piece we had that led to a goal. Reece James obviously is more than capable of hitting this shot, but I think Cole Palmer touched the ball, put it down. Most of the time when you're watching the guy set the ball down, they are going to be the one taking it. Reece James still is standing over it, so I wouldn't be surprised. But like I said, this seems like a shot for Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer hits it and just fizzles wide. Not a bad effort. Not a bad effort, but like I said, it just went wide. Oh, off the post. I didn't realize that. Oh, closer than I thought it was. I thought it just fizzled outside. Unfortunate for that because yeah, he was beating the keeper there. I mean, that's a nice thing that we have as Chelsea fans. I mean, we're very fortunate. Most sides only have maybe one set piece taker that can hit a free kick. We have two or three guys that can easily hit. So Reece James obviously being one of them. All right, we'll come back to that. AC Milan kind of on the attack here. Yeah, there's no one there for them. We have Reece James that can hit a set piece. We have, again, I believe Cole Palmer, who's absolutely brilliant at taking set pieces. And then I would still argue Pedro Neto is a guy that can hit it. João Pedro can hit free kicks. I'm just trying to think. I don't know if Jamie Gittins is a good set piece taker. I don't recall him being one, but even Enzo Fernandez. So we have multiple guys that can hit set pieces for us or free kicks, which makes it so dangerous for teams because when we are setting up, especially in that spot where we just were, and I mean, obviously we knew Cole Palmer was taking it, but you never know because Reece James could have ran up and just smacked that ball too. But like I said, I think Cole Palmer asked to take it. It is a friendly, so no worries there. I think if it had been against a Premier League side, had it been the league there, I think Reece James would have taken that one. Would have made more sense in my opinion, just because again the confidence that Reece James has been having with set pieces. But I'm totally fine with seeing Cole Palmer take it. João Pedro cooking, yes, absolutely. This is again a match that we're just seeing how good João Pedro is. And I know people were saying like we're very fortunate to get him. Oh, Cole Palmer just so smooth with the ball, like just a nice, lovely touch. We'll come back to João Pedro in just a second. But what Cole Palmer does when he gets the ball a lot of times, he knows exactly how big of a touch to take just to go around players. Like right there, just an easy ball around a guy. But yeah, João Pedro, I'm so surprised that no one was really going for him too much in the summer. Like again, you're thinking about what clubs went for other players. João Pedro could have went to anyone. I think he could have went to United had United wanted him. I think Liverpool could have definitely been very fortunate to have him as a player. And like I said, we are more than happy to have him and Liam Delop as well. But both those players, I feel like could have signed for anyone. Chelsea getting that work done quickly made absolute sense to again to get them. I think had we waited an extra month, we would have been in a bidding war. But we got both players for arguably undervalue because what we're seeing other guys go for is just remarkable. He just got you another free kick. Yeah, we have another free kick set up here. This is a little bit further out. I think it's from 30-ish yards out, off to the right side a little bit. I mean, this one, I think Cole Palmer again makes sense just because being off to the side here, but I could see Reece James whipping the ball in and then seeing if we can win that inside the box. Mingway has struggled off the first one. I'm just trying to think. Back post, Cucurella. Who else is over there? It looks like Jamie Gittens. I didn't see it flash too quickly for me to see. But like I said, we can definitely see us trying to work something here as well. And I think Chelsea really should work on like a shorter set piece, like play the ball to another player and then just swing it around. But Cole Palmer, so close again. So close. Just on the outside of that post this time. And I'm just trying to see here. Just curling away. Just curling away. Like that's I think Mike has that though too, if I'm not mistaken. If that's closer or if it's on target, yeah, he's saving at that one. Unless it's going absolutely top in. How's Gittins playing? I think Jamie Gittins has been playing well so far. Chelsea have been working it out to the side to him quite a bit. We've seen some flash from him so far. Nothing that's ended in a goal, but so far like, he's been looking pretty good this match. And I mean, I would argue now AC Milan just played yesterday against Leeds, if I'm not mistaken. My brain's not having a brain fart right now. So I would expect them to be a little gassed. I mean, for them, there's no point to go too crazy, and now they're down to 10 men. So, like I said, this is going to be a game that Jamie Giddens can easily gain some confidence by just going right at the defenders because they're not going to really put in a hard tackle. And like I said, I feel like some of Chelsea are going to definitely put in a good shift, and we just won the ball back. Cole Palmer making a run, playing off to Jamie Giddens here. Let's see what he can do. That's not what we want to see. Puts a shot wide. I feel like he should have held that ball up a little bit. Where can you watch this match? The Zone. So DAZN. It's free. It's an app. It's what the Club World Cup was on. So I'm not too sure where you're at, but this is where you can watch the match free. It's crazy though, because and Watford fan, so seeing João Pedro at Chelsea now is really cool or really good. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. João Pedro, they're taking a water break as of right now. So in case you're wondering what's going on, well, I'm not talking about the match. Taking a quick water break. João Pedro definitely has been playing well for Watford, played well at obviously Brighton. And again, it's quite surprising that Chelsea, like I said, put a bid in for him and it went through very quickly. Now, obviously, I understand he's looking at the project at Chelsea. Makes total sense. I mean, we are a younger side. So, again, he's probably buying into what we're going to be doing and offering. But like I said, I could have easily seen, again, another club go for him. And sorry, I'm going to have a little snack here while we're doing an ice or a water break here. Yeah, so I mean, if you want to watch the game and just watch it with me, you're totally fine. Or you can go watch it. No worries. Like I said, we're just doing commentating here. I'm not going to be showing the match at all. Um, I'm going to have a little bite here. I do apologize. It's pretty early here in the morning yet, so I'm trying to have my breakfast. So I'm going to try not to talk with my mouth full. I'll get your comment in just a second, Tyler. Actually, I could see João Pedro being a top goal scorer this season. The only thing with him that I'm worried about is the injuries. He's had a few injuries here and there. I think he can stay fully fit. If he does, he can definitely be a good goal scorer. He's obviously going to be rotating with Liam Delap, or on top of that, he's going to be rotating with our left wingers because I do believe that we will see Liam Delap and João Pedro play at the same time in some matches. Better than Jokeres, I don't want to compare the players because they're different profiles, so it's hard to say for the most part. I think Jokeres is probably a better finisher, what we've seen in Sporting, but I think João Pedro is a better dribbler, um, better player all around than Jokeres. But like I said, if you're looking at a striker finishing wise, I think you got to give it to Jokeres as of right now. Not saying that, again, João Pedro is a bad finisher because he's definitely a guy more than capable of finishing it from anywhere on the pitch. What minute we're in the 28th minute? They just took a water break, so like I said, they just started back the match. I don't know how hot it is in London. I was there about 2 weeks ago, and for me, it wasn't that hot. I think it was like 75 degrees, but I guess for some people that might be too hot as of right now. And maybe they're looking at it too. They're not trying to really make it too crazy for the players and just making sure that they can rest a little bit throughout this entire match. But getting back to João Pedro, like I said, if he stays fully fit, I do see him scoring at least. I feel like he's got to score almost 20 goals this season. And maybe that's me being a little bit biased and like just hyping him up. But I think he is a guy that is going to be very good for Chelsea. And he's probably going to start the majority of the games for us. So whether he starts 30, oh, that's a ball player over the top. And Tosin recovering. Otherwise, that would have led to a goal from Rafael Leao. But him starting, I think if he starts 30 matches for us, he's got to almost net 20 goals. He had 78 degrees today. Okay. Like I said, being from the States, that's a cold day. We're used to 90-degree weather as of right now. So again, I understand though that might be warm. When I was there, I was in a t-shirt and shorts, and people thought it was kind of crazy. And they were, ooh. Cole Palmer almost with a one-time finish right there with his left foot. Plays it wide though. But yeah, when I was there, people were wearing winter jackets and jeans. I thought that was absolutely wild, being 70-ish degrees out. Not a bad ball play too. I mean, Cole Palmer could have taken a touch on that. Yeah, put it high and slightly wide there. And I feel like the player that he is, he could have brought that down and absolutely finished that. But nothing wrong with taking a one-time touch there too. Can't fault him for that. Um, but yeah, besides João Pedro, I think Liam Delap as well. UK Heat is different breed. I mean, come to the States, it's a different breed with the humidity. Trust me, it's way different. And like I said, I understand because if you're from the area and you've been used to like the how warm and cold it gets there, it's different. But like I said, when I was there, it was beautiful weather. I could have been in, like I said, a tank top and shorts the entire time I was there at 78 degrees. Um, but yeah, Liam Delap too. I think is going to be a guy that does score double digits for us as well, just in the Premier League. Now, if we're looking at the rest of competition, I think I wouldn't be surprised if João Pedro does score with goals and assists. So all that together in multiple competition, I think he does 30. So a few assists here and there, and a few more goals in say the FA Cup, Champions League. I think he's going to do quite well too. I cannot wait to watch Chelsea play back in the Champions League. It's been way too long to see them. So again, I'm looking forward to that for the most part. And like I said, I think overall we have a very good team that we can make a deep run in Champions League. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the knockout stage and whoever we play, definitely give them hard competition. Now, do I think we'll go all the way? I don't think so. I think we're going to struggle once we get to the final knockout stages. But I see us getting at least to the quarterfinals for Chelsea this year. Anything less than that, I feel like is going to be a slight blow to the club. But it all depends who we play, though, in the first knockout stages as well, in the round of 16, because we can obviously play, again, your likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG. You never know who you're going to get lined up against. All right, let me just see here. Get another bite here real quick. Hmm. But yeah, watching them play right now, it's a little difficult because they're playing against 10 men. So now anything we want to try to do is just going to be kind of minute because now we can pretty much run rampant into the midfield. We can overload areas too now. And it looks like, yeah, Chalaba, from what we're seeing here tactic wise too, we're really just definitely seeing Cucurella push up. And it looks like I said, Tosin and Chalaba are sitting back quite a bit. Ooh, weak touch. That's got to be a foul. Yeah. Weak touch by Enzo there. And then led to a foul. And a quick counter. I feel like AC Milan is just trying to hit us on the counter for the most part, which, I mean, you're not going to beat Reece James in a counter. I feel like he's too quick. He's too strong. And he's just right now stopping Rafael Leao. Anything he's been trying to do for the most part. And I don't understand what happened to that player because he used to be absolutely phenomenal. And it seems like he is just a shadow of himself. I don't know if he had a few injuries in the last couple seasons, but like 2, 3 seasons ago, that man was just everywhere, especially when they were in the Champions League. 6 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. Oh, is Arsenal playing right now? I didn't realize that. Way to keep the ball in there, Cucurella. I know the community shield's going on too, so that's one of those things that I'm gonna probably check out. Oh, lovely ball play over the top. Just a bit much from Gittins there. I think that was a beautiful ball that he could have done more with, leading to a corner kick there. Caicedo, I think sometimes too goes under the radar with how good of a passer he is. That is just Caicedo playing a beautiful ball over the top. Yeah, just lovely weighted. I feel like Gittins should have done better there, especially if he gets a better touch there. He can drive towards goal and then just lay it back to João Pedro. But it is what it is. Um, Kai was quick yesterday. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Arsenal's game yesterday. Yes, I saw the highlights of that. So I did see Gyökeres did score. Kai Havertz. I don't know if Kai Havertz got faster or again what was going on in that race, but he looked like he gained speed. And obviously, I know he's gotten bigger too. He's been lifting weights, but that's one of the things that happens when you have competition. You have to do something to make yourself that much better. So, being more of a heavier person by lifting weights and doing everything like he just did, an absolutely lovely ball, just one by Caicedo again. I just want to say that real quick. Hit a ball from there, Zhao. He should have hit that. Not to losing the ball there, but Reece James winning the ball back for us. Um, I remember Jamie Carragher just mentioned though too the other day about. Sorry, I'm just trying to watch this right now about what they were saying about whoever comes into Arsenal by halfway of the season, they're going to get switched up by Kai Havertz, and I could easily see that happening because Kai Havertz still is a good player. I mean, I understand he struggled for his time. I mean, at Chelsea, he had moments where he looked good. And even the last two seasons at Arsenal, he's looked well at certain places. Absolutely 1-2 touching right here by Chelsea, looking good, but then just a heavy touch. And I could easily see him again coming in and taking the spot off Gyökeres, which I think Kai Havertz offers more too than Gyökeres does. So again, if Gyökeres starts not producing and finishing, he's a guy you can't really link up a play. He's like Erling Haaland. Obviously phenomenal at finishing and scoring, but besides that, they are a liability for any team. Whereas, like I said, you're trying to link up a play with these players, they really can't do it that often. They're, again, the end product. Whereas I think, again, Kai Havertz can drop in and link a play with all the other players, which makes it very difficult to defend. If you have a guy that's just sitting there waiting for the ball inside the box, way easier to defend. Now, again, Erling Haaland is a freak of his nature. He can do his own thing because he's still scoring 20 plus goals. So again, he does his thing properly. Gyökeres, I don't know what's going to happen at Arsenal. It could be completely different. Maybe he does the same thing, but if that is the case, especially with Arteta's tactics, I could again see Kai Havertz coming and taking that spot from him. But yeah, Jamie Gittins again on the ball here. See what he can do. Chalaba thought about it. Caicedo, another lovely ball play over the top. Neto again, maybe it's just a little too heavy. Yeah, Neto's saying just a little too much. Otherwise, it was a good thought process by Caicedo. I think this could be a year that Caicedo gets more recognition because now that we're in Champions League, I definitely can see that more people are going to see him play. Not that they didn't see him play last year. I know there's a lot of pundits that didn't think he was that good of a player. They just remember his first two matches for Chelsea. But I think Moise Caicedo definitely playing for Chelsea in the Champions League is going to get a lot more recognition of what he can do, which he should have got from the Club World Cup because he absolutely bossed PSG. But when they start seeing him in the European competitions, again, Champions League, they'll give him more credit than the Conference League, which is rightfully so. But we'll see how good of a player he is. Oh, I forgot that Modric plays for AC Milan now. Completely forgot that he played. I was curious why he was just shown, but yeah. So we'll probably see Modric come in at some point, which I'm actually going to be happy to see him play. I'm kind of curious to see how well he does in Syria. Him and Kevin De Bruyne, I think, are going to be two guys that are still going to do quite well in. Well, Kevin De Bruyne is at Napoli, but seeing them both play in the Italian league, I think are both still going to be phenomenal players despite their age and how many injuries they've had. For me, for a while, Caicedo is the best CM in the world of football right now. I would agree. The only thing is, it's hard to say because Rodri being out last year with the injury, Rodri could definitely come back and be the same player he was 2 seasons ago, and he might not be the same player. Obviously, we're going to find that out this season. But if he does come back and plays how he played for City when he won the Ballon d'Or, I gotta say he's the better CDM. But Moise Caicedo's right there with him, and again, being a guy that just is completely all over the pitch for Chelsea all the time, I can easily see him again taking that from Rodri and being the best CDM in the world. We saw it against PSG, how well he can do against almost any team for the most part. Thanks for beating Milan for us. You were more than happy. Not that I'm part of the team or anything, but they're definitely winning this match. They're down to 10 men now. So, again, this is going to be more of a training ground for Chelsea, which is totally fine. Nothing wrong with that because we really shouldn't be pushing anything. Rafael Leao, just another poor touch by him. And tried to clear the ball to Neto there. Chalaba was looking for him. Um, this is why London is blue. I mean, I would agree. London, like I said, Chelsea's been obviously the best London club in quite some time. I know that some teams will say that's other teams like Arsenal, but Arsenal haven't won anything in a handful of years now. Whereas Chelsea obviously have been pushing and getting better and better and better, which again, it's remarkable why Jamie Carragher thinks that Chelsea can't do anything because in the last handful of seasons, finished 12th, finished higher. Now we're in the top four, or we were in the top four last season. We're in Champions League, won the Club World Cup. That again, I think this team can do quite well. Could win the Premier League. I mean, I'm biased. I think we can win the Premier League, but even if I wasn't a Chelsea fan, looking at this team, you almost have to put them as a dark horse this year for possibly winning the league itself. Yeah, there we go. Won the ball back out and just cleared by Reece James. No one's up there though, because in my opinion, it's going to be Liverpool and City. I think those two are the heavy favorites going into this season. I think Reinhardt is absolutely phenomenal signing for them, and does exactly what Kevin Bruyne did. So again, I think their midfield's pretty stacked. Defense wise, they've been pretty good, and then obviously Erling Haaland is always a threat that he's going to score a goal no matter who they're playing against. And then I don't understand Ederson's had his back and forth with Ortega, but I think Ederson's still one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So overall, City are looking pretty good. Rodri's coming back from his injury. Phil Foden, I think, has to almost. There's no way Phil Foden can play as bad as he did last season. And even when he played bad, he still scored a few goals here and there. But I think he was coming back from injury, overplayed too much with the Euros. So I think that was part of the reason where now he's had pretty much a whole summer rest. So again, will make a little difference. How is Gittins doing? He was playing well. I mean, the last 15 minutes, though, haven't seen too much. He's had a few poor touches. Ooh, and Chelsea gave up a foul near the box here, so we'll see what happens here. This could be a chance for, again, AC Milan to score at least a goal here. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard tackle on Chalba, but nothing too big there. I will say Tosin has been playing well here, so I want to give credit to him. Where can I watch the game for free? It's on the Zone, so DAZN, where the Club World Cup was. It's free to watch, so you just have to download the app. If I'm not mistaken, you can just jump into it, or you can start it back when the match kicked off. I'm watching it in the middle screen here. So again, in case you are here on YouTube or on TikTok, I do apologize. I'm watching in this screen. So I am trying to look at each screen. So again, if you do comment on YouTube, I'm more than happy to look at those comments. If you comment on TikTok, more than happy to look at those comments as well. But I'm looking here, watching the set piece here right now. So just want to give you a heads up here. I'm just typing in on YouTube as of right now. So AC Milan has a set piece here into the wall. I mean, that kind of sums up their match so far today. No surprise here. And like I said, they're down to 10 men. I spoke too soon, unless he was offsides. I think he was offside there. Yep. It was a beautiful ball played in. Rafael Leao scoring off a header, but he is offside. Just kind of curious watching this play out again. Everyone pushes up. And I'm just trying to see how close that was because I think that was. Oh, yeah, he's clearly off. Chelsea holding an absolutely beautiful back line there, right on the 18. So that was solid defense right there, which is what you want to see. I mean, obviously you work on that, but it was still, I mean, fairly close. Um, yeah, we're in the 42nd, 43rd minute now. So there's just a little bit of time up. I can't imagine there's going to be much stoppage time, especially just being a friendly. So probably get like maybe a minute, if that. I could easily see him just blowing the whistle at the 45th minute. Jamie Gittins still working some of his magic, getting past him. Ooh, looking beautiful. Plays and this block cross. I will say Jamie Gittins is getting the better of their right back as of right now. And like I said, I'm not too sure it's just because it is a friendly. Maybe he's not putting in a full shift. AC Milan's defender. But Jamie Gittins is definitely putting in a good shift right now for Chelsea. He's definitely showing what he's worth and what we can expect from him going into the season. And I do think, like I said, he's going to be a very creative player for us. And I do think he's going to create a lot of chances. I'm not sure how his end product is going to be with finishing. I haven't seen anything yet that I've seen from him for Chelsea, but obviously when he played for Dortmund, he did score a few great goals. But like I said, I haven't seen anything yet at Chelsea. Pedro Neto with the ball in and back out to Neto. plays the ball across, and Melee grabs that, which he's looked a little shaky today. I'm not sure why. I mean, I feel like he's been more of a downfall, Big Mike for AC Milan, but today he definitely has not looked good. Rafael getting a shot. Robert Sanchez with another save. Maybe should have kept that in, but out for a corner now for AC Milan. Just trying to see here what we could have done different there. Yeah, it was a quick counterattack by AC, but he couldn't generate enough power on there. But I do believe Sanchez probably should have kept that ball in. Not that it was hit too hard for the most part. Um, so AC Milan with the corner kick here, plays up to the top, plays it back for an in swinger, and that's actually a good ball in. Sanchez getting a hand, just pushing it wide for another corner kick. Absolutely brilliant from Sanchez right there. That was a beautiful set piece too by AC Milan. Not gonna lie, they definitely it was almost a free header, but Sanchez reading that well and just again doing what he should be doing as a goalkeeper. And I do think again, Sanchez. We're gonna make a video. I'm gonna do a live again later before the season kicks off. I think Sanchez is gonna be the most improved player, not only for Chelsea, but I think for the Premier League. I think again, not that he played that poor last season, but I think people are gonna see how good he is. Block shot goes out to the right side, and yeah, Chelsea deal with that quite easily. I believe he was offside there. I'm kind of curious though too if we're going to see Estavio play in this match. I gotta assume he comes in the second half. I'm looking forward to watching him play. I didn't get to watch the match against Bayern Leverkusen. From what I saw from the highlights, though, he definitely played really, really well. And so again, I'm looking forward. I just realized my hair is a little wild on the side. I thought I did my hair right there, but it's definitely sticking out on that side. But yeah, he played well against Bayern Leverkusen. It's a Friday match though, so again, with work, wasn't able to do a live. So I know Chelsea have a few Friday matches, which always stinks. I'm not able to do this, but anytime they play on Saturday, Sunday, we will be doing live commentating for those matches. So in case you aren't following this channel, feel free to follow this channel. Feel free to follow this channel on TikTok as well. Jamie Gittins losing the ball here, and like I said, just driving. I think it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Yeah, oh, man. I wish Ruben Loftus-Cheek would never picked up that injury. I still wish he played for Chelsea. I think he could have been a phenomenal player for Chelsea. Oh, nice fake, and then just hit wide or hit way too hard. It was a good goal or a good opportunity leading to that goal, but like I said, just hit too hard for the most part, and he's leaning backwards. Definitely sent Tosin the wrong way there, and then yeah, just didn't hit the ball properly there. Sent into the stands. Let's see here. If you say, guys, anything there? Nope. Okay. Curious, where you guys watching from though? Are you guys in the States, or are you guys watching from the UK, or where are you guys at for the most part? And Cucurella with the ball. I think yeah, there's 2 minutes stoppage time as well. Chelsea's going to be a force to reckon with this season. I agree. I think Chelsea, in my opinion, should be competing for the title this season. I'm not sure if, like I said, Maresca believes that they can do that. And again, we should be finishing top four. If not, it's a bad season for us this upcoming year. I think we should still at least lift a trophy, whether that's FA Cup, League Cup, Champions League would obviously be phenomenal if we do that. But I think we should be lifting a trophy by the end of this season. And again, top four, if not top three, is where we should be finishing. I do think we're a lot better. That's a lovely ball played in. Great save. And Cucurella, ooh, what a beautiful save there. From London, Mr. Chelsea, welcome, by the way. And that Chelsea had an opportunity to score there. Let's see here. And Gittins with the ball across. And again, it fell to João Pedro right there. And played the ball back. Cucurella having a swing at it. I'm just trying to see what all happened here. Cole Palmer, yeah, and that's half for us. So again, looking pretty good right now for Chelsea. Granted, we are playing against 10 men AC Milan, so I'm not too surprised that we're looking good here. We should see this game out with us winning with a clean sheet. I mean, right now, if we score some more goals, great. But the big talking point should be that we finish with a clean sheet now. I'm seeing teams shaping up real well. Yeah, and so again, I'm going to look at the screen here for a little bit. So actually, let me see if I can flip my TikTok. Give me 1 second here. So if I set this here, does that kind of look like I'm looking at both screens? Maybe. maybe. So we'll just talk directly because now that it's on halftime right now, and I don't really need to see the highlights. We already saw what's going on. But I do believe right now what we're seeing with Chelsea is definitely a good thing coming. We obviously have gotten better through the seasons. Our younger players, we're still the youngest club in the Premier League. We were the youngest last year. And despite that fact, we still took fourth place. We were, in my opinion, we were in a tug of race until December. And then obviously the wheels came off for us. But that being said, I think what we saw last year was just a glimpse of what Chelsea can do. We obviously, I think, improved our entire squad. We got rid of Noni, which again, up in the air on how I feel about him because he did score a few goals for us. He was a big part of the project last season for us to do well. So I'm not going to say it was a bad sell or good sign for Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal should have went for him. That's just my opinion. But I believe us bringing Jamie Gittins in and obviously Estavio coming into that we now are going to be better out on the wings. Pedro Neto, I think, is clearly our best winger as of right now, but that's not to say he's not going to get challenged for his position. But he can play left and right side. I do believe he's better on the right side just because he can cut into his left foot. But that being said, like we can see him on the left side, we can see him on the right side, and even if we do a false nine with him at some point, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. Liverpool never thought we could win the league last season. Yeah, I mean, we thought we were going to win the league, and then obviously Enzo Maresca came out and then said that we were not winning the league, and we went. I don't know if that was just unfortunate timing when he said that, or it was bad karma, but he literally said that when we tanked right after that. Like the next match, if I'm not mistaken, we drew to Fulham or we lost to Fulham. I can't remember how that game went now, and it was in like the dying minutes of the game. I think we lost that game if I'm not mistaken, and then it was just down from there. And obviously, we came back and then finished the season strong. I mean, we finished top four and then won the Conference League and then the Club World Cup. But I think because of what we did at the end of the season, I'm just going to forget what happened in December. We now have been going like this for the most part. And with the confidence that these players should have, we should honestly constantly keep doing better and better. I'm glad we're selling Jackson. I'm in the opinion I think we should keep Jackson. Do I think he's the best player that we can have at our club? No, but I do believe he brings just a slight different element to what we need, but he's also depth. Because right now we only have João Pedro and technically Liam Delap as a really a proper number nine. Whereas I think Nico Jackson still plays a little bit more on the left side, but he's still a striker for us. And we saw well he linked up with Cole Palmer. And anytime he played last season, minus some of that red cards he picked up, some mindless red cards, he still brought a lot to us. Not that he scored all the time, but he still created chances, but also he made those runs that we need to have for a player to, again, create space for other players. Yes, that was our first loss in a while. Yeah, that's what I thought. But again, Pedro Neto and I think Liam Delap, currently right now, they've been obviously fit. They've been playing a lot of matches. But I could see if we do have some injury crisis, it's going to be difficult. Whereas, again, Nico Jackson, I think, would be a good player to have as a backup. But again, for him to be a backup to a backup, it wouldn't surprise me if he does go to Newcastle. Newcastle seems like the perfect signing for him now. And I mean, I know he was linked to a few other clubs. Bayern Munich, I can't see Bayern Munich buying Nico Jackson. Like that, in my opinion, does not make sense at all. Like I know they just brought in Luis Diaz. They have Harry Kane. They have a few other players. I believe Coleman is off to the Saudi Arabia League. So, like I said, maybe they do need some depth there as well. But again, it just does not make sense, especially with winning the Club World Cup. Gives us confidence that we need to start the season. Yeah, I mean, everyone minus Chelsea fans are writing the Club World Cup as a friendly, but had any other Premier League team won it, say Liverpool was in it, even though they shouldn't be in it, say Liverpool won it, people would be praising Arne Slot with how well he did to win the Club World Cup in his first season or second season, depending how you're looking at it. Or if Pep Guardiola would have won it, people would have been talking about, oh yeah, this Pep Guardiola side is back. They're going to win the league now, had they won the Club World Cup. The fact that Chelsea won it, everyone's just running off as a friendly, and they're saying that PSG just weren't playing as well as they should have been. Like for some reason, Chelsea's not getting credit for beating PSG, which, in my opinion, is remarkable. But that's fine. I feel like Chelsea's typically considered the underdogs for most things we go into. I'm trying to think anytime lately we've been in a final, though we were the heavy favorites. I cannot think of one for over a decade because even the finals that we lost to Liverpool, I feel like Liverpool were still the heavy favorites, even though Gary Neville saying that we're the $1 billion bottle jobs. That team was still a good Liverpool team, and they still played arguably some of their strongest players. So, like I said, we lost that final. Maybe we should have won, But overall, when we play in European finals, we do really, really well. His finishing is abysmal. I'm assuming you're talking about Nico Jackson. Yeah, it's been lacking to say the least. But he's what, 23 years old for the most part, and to say that for the most part, it's one of those that yes, he could be doing better. And I mean, he still scored double-digit goals the last 2 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, his finishing has been poor, and had he scored a lot more, it could be a whole different talking point for Nico Jackson. But I think if again he goes to Newcastle, I think he thrives really well. I think he would fit perfectly into that system. I just can't see Newcastle paying that much. And I'm just watching. Sorry, there's a highlight that they're showing right now. I'm just trying to see what match this is right now. So sorry, my concentration just went off to the screen here. It looks like I don't know if that's the Bundesliga. I can't tell right now. Sorry, they're showing a match right now during the break, and so I'm just trying to watch what's going on here. Um, yeah, like we went up against PSG. Yeah, yes, we always perform well in finals. Yeah, never write off Chelsea. If Chelsea are in a final, I feel like you can never write them off because, like I said, we obviously we know what we did at City. We saw what we did there. PSG, same thing. Even you go back to Bayern Munich, for the most part, we literally always show up, and even Europa finals, where again seems like we're a team that's not going to win it, and all of a sudden we do win it. We won it over Arsenal. What was that, 6 years ago now? I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And then we won it back in 2013. I'm completely blanking on who we beat that team. My mind wants to say I want to say Porto, but that doesn't sound right. I can't remember who we beat in the final in that match, but Ivanovic obviously was a big part of that reason why we won. Torres also scored a goal in that game. So again, like I said, we always show up in finals, especially European finals. Um, Let me just see what you're saying here. Yeah, he can work on that. He will be in the big leagues for sure. Yeah, like I said, and the thing with Newcastle, like it's shocking to me. I've done a few lives where we talked about signings and everything. Newcastle, I feel like really dropped the ball this transfer window. Like they finished in top five, so they have Champions League again. So you would think that they would go out and start spending money because they can spend some money right now. Like they have the capability of doing that. They brought in Alanga within like the first week or two. The transfer window opened up. So now again, you have Alanga, who's a Swedish player. You had Isak, who's also a Swedish player. So you're thinking this is going to be a good connection. Anthony Gordon is a pretty solid left winger for the most part. And hold on, my screen's just making sure that I am still doing a live here. They didn't sell Isak yet, but from what they're saying, Isak's pretty much on his way out. And then you look at the midfield. I think had they have gone out and bought one or two different midfielders, they would have actually been a really tough team to beat. Because you think about Tonali, you think about Bruno Guimaraes, and I would even throw in, again, the likes of Joelinton, and then Miley. Yeah, who's the other guy that they have in midfield? But still, their midfield's pretty good. They could have went though and bought another midfielder and helped really show that Isak, yes, we are looking to build this project with you as our current striker. They sold Colin Wilson, so again, they're showing like you are going to be the main man. I think had they have known that Isak would have been leaving, I'm curious if they would have sold Colin Wilson, even though he's been having injury issues. It's just like I said, now that they're going to be losing two strikers in the same window, it seems quite remarkable for Newcastle. And now they're kind of having their backs against the wall because now every club knows that they need a striker if they sell Isak. And it looks like they're going to be selling him for 140-ish million. That now any club's like, well, you just sold Isak for 140. We're going to ask for 80, which I think is Chelsea should be asking for the most part from Newcastle. And do I think Jackson's worth 80 million? Absolutely not. Is it worth 60? Probably. But like I said, we don't have to sell Nico Jackson. We have him on for a long contract right now. So the fact is that we can keep him if we want to. And he seems to be still happy here. Now, that being said, if he does play as a bench player this entire season, then he may want to force his way out. But even if he does force his way out next season, we still have a long contract on him. So, like I said, we can still get a good amount of money for him. If we get 60 million next year for him, we still double our profit off of him. Not that I want to look at players as just numbers for the most part, because like I said, they're not just numbers. They are what they do producing wise. And like I said, I think Nico Jackson does do a great job with messing with CBs. He's one of those guys that, like I said, can really bully any CB. And I think that's sometimes what Chelsea are lacking. Do I think Liam Delop can do that? Yes. I think Liam Delop is a perfect out and out striker that is one of your like old school type of strikers. Therefore, like I said, seeing him do what he can easily bully and boss center backs. We saw him do it with Ipswich last year. I know we talked about this. Ipswich was such a poor team last season. The fact that Liam Delap could do what he did under such a poor side, now that he's playing for Chelsea, like I said, he should be doing everything he was doing. He even did in the Club World Cup. So, like I said, maybe we don't need Jackson because we have those two players, but I still think we need depth for the most part. Ref should have given a yellow on that foul. I mean, I was if he would have given a yellow on that, I would have been like, you know what, it's a friendly. They want to keep full strength, but as a ref, you have to almost give a red card because it is dog. So it's denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Like João Pedro was 1-on-1 had he not followed him. So it makes sense he gives a red card. It's a shame because, like I said, AC Milan really can't do anything they want to do now from this friendly because they're playing with 10 men. They're probably just not trying to concede it's too many goals. Whereas Chelsea now are going to be looking at this as just pretty much a scrimmage or a training ground because when you're playing against 10 men, again, you can't really do everything you want to do because it doesn't give you a good picture of what you're trying to establish with different tactics. Because really, right now, Chelsea, full throttle, they're attacking. They don't really have to defend too much. AC Milan are kind of hitting us on the counter here and there, but overall, it's not like they're trying to hit us too hard. They're pretty much only outlet is Rafael Leao on that left side or on Reece James' side, and Reece James has been shutting him down. He's had maybe one opportunity for the most part. For preparing for the season, he shouldn't have left it 11v11. They also gave him a choice. Yeah, like I said, I think you got to think about it as a defender. In your mind, you got to think it's a friendly. He gets through on goal, it happens. But to be sent off, and also he had an own goal too. So, like I said, it's a pretty poor performance in the first 20 minutes for the player. But you got to think if you're in a friendly, just let it go. If it's, I mean, if it would have been a league match for AC Milan, it makes sense to make that foul then because 2-0 down, you can come back even with 10 men. 3-0 down, very difficult to come back from that, even if you have full strength, just because, like I said, Chelsea can easily play possession. Not that they will in this friendly. It doesn't make sense for us just to knock the ball around. It makes sense for us to still attack and try to create more opportunities. Though, like I said before, the first half ended, we should still see a clean sheet. I mean, that's going to be the big talking point here now. We should see this match out without giving up a goal. That would give huge confidence for our defense and for Robert Sanchez going into this. So, sorry, I'm going to just eat a little bite before the second half kicks off because this is fairly early here. Modric looks like he's coming on in the second half. So I'm kind of curious to see what he brings to the table. Always a great player to watch. Sorry, apologies. I'm chewing here on the screen here. I'll try not to talk too much with my mouth full here. But like I said, it's still kind of early here in the States. And the players are walking out right now, so the second half should start here shortly. Yeah, I mean, we just had a match Friday, so this is a quick turnaround for Chelsea for the most part. But it makes sense for us to play a match today and not any other time because we now have a full week to go against Crystal Palace. And the big thing for this match is for us not to pick up any injuries in this last 45 minutes. I didn't see if we made any substitutions at halftime. We'll definitely see in just a second here. I'm just trying to look at all the players that are out there, but I think we kept most of our starting 11 here. Maybe we switch one person out. Palace might be tough. I disagree. I think Palace is a team that we should absolutely go and smash. Like, I think we should beat Crystal Palace at least by 3 goals. And maybe that's me being biased on how well we've been playing. And Crystal Palace obviously been playing well. And actually, I have no idea how that match is going right now. I'm kind of curious how the Community Shield is going here. So let me just check on that match. Community Shield. So give me 1 second. Kind of curious how that match is at right now. Community Shield right now is 2-1 to Liverpool. Ekitike scored. Frimpong scored. Oh, wow. Both signings. That's pretty impressive. And Mateta scored for Crystal Palace. So, like I said, I think Crystal Palace, yes, they're a good team, but I still think that we should be beating them next week for the most part. Giddens doing too much, has to play more simple. So the first 15, 20 minutes, I think Giddens played well, but then he was trying to do too much. I would agree with that. Where, like I said, hopefully, again, the second half, he does ease into a little bit more And like I said, he doesn't have to go crazy. Just play some balls, one twos, and that will definitely help him out. It will definitely set the tone for the rest of the season. I mean, I've talked about Chelsea's season in the beginning. We should be winning the first five matches. I think we can go out and get all 15 points in the first five. And I think we could even go further than that. But I think for Chelsea, and the second half just kicked off, by the way. So actually, I'm going to spin this screen back here. So that way the match is in the middle. And so I do apologize, Mr. Chelsea, here that you're on YouTube. That I'm going to be looking at the screen, but I'll look back and forth here with TikTok too here. But like I said, the first handful of matches, we should be doing so well. I would I mean, anything can obviously happen, but I think Chelsea really need to set the tone early on and just show clubs how good they actually are. If they do win all five matches, teams are then going to start worrying about playing Chelsea, especially coming to Stamford Bridge. Like, I think Stamford Bridge this year should be a fortress again, like it used to be. We shouldn't be losing any matches at home this upcoming year. If we do lose any matches, it has to be only like Liverpool or City. And again, I think we can beat both those teams, home and away. So, like I said, we shouldn't lose any matches at home this year. And like I said, we can really establish Stamford Bridge as being a fortress. That is going to make teams very uneasy to come to us and play against us at home. And so, like I said, that comes off the first handful of matches by us winning everything. And it looks like we didn't make any switches. So I wonder if we're going to go to the 60th minute here before we see any changes, which not surprising. Get 60 minutes because this is, I think, our starting 11 for Crystal Palace. I'm just seeing if anyone wrote anything else over here. So no. And like I said, I feel like at 60-minute mark, we'll probably take out Reece James just to be on the safe side. I think we should take out Cucurella as well. I could see Chalba and Tosin playing the entire match. That wouldn't surprise me. Enzo with a ball across the face of the goal, but goes out for a corner kick. I believe Giddens has been kind of a focal point for us to play the ball over the top too. So that'll be something to see throughout this season if we keep doing that, not just again in certain matches, but I think because of the pace he actually has, he's a very good player that can make those runs over the top. And we have so many players that can play the ball over the top too. Hopefully, Reece James doesn't get injured this season. Well, obviously, I hope that too. I mean, Reece James is when he's fully fit. Again, I think he's the best right back in the world, not just the Premier League, the entire world. Like he offers so much, not just defensively wise, but attacking wise too. So, AC Milan on another counter here. Chelsea are getting back for the most part. Um, I think that's Modric. Yeah, Modric taking a shot. Not a bad effort either, but didn't challenge Sanchez too much. I think Sanchez has what 3 or 4 saves now, but really there's only been maybe one save that's been difficult for him. So overall, Sanchez I think has looked good. Had maybe 1 or 2 poor passes, but even those poor passes did break the lines and actually lead to Chelsea attacking. So, like I said, I think he's our number one goalkeeper. And I know people are going to say, well, maybe we need another goalkeeper, but I still believe in Robert Sanchez. I think he is a good guy. Or I think he's a good guy, yes, but I think he's a good goalkeeper as well. I think he has a capability of being that guy that can really make sure that Chelsea do well, especially at home, and help with our back line. Because, like I said, if we can keep our back line fully fit, this is the problem we've been dealing with time and time again is that we have to rotate our center backs over and over because of injuries, or again, Reece James get hurt. We have to rotate our right back. It makes it difficult for our goalkeeper to have the confidence and trust in those players. But if we can keep those guys fully fit, it makes a huge difference. Now, having Levy Colwell out, maybe that does hinder it a little bit, but overall, I think we can still do well. Are they taking breaks in 79-degree weather? I'm not too sure why they are. I mean, it might just be that something they want to take breaks just to make sure the players stay rested and not rush around too much. But yeah, I feel like taking breaks is not really needed for the most part. Sanchez is just inconsistent. I would agree he has been inconsistent, but I think in the last handful of months he's been very well as a goalkeeper. And then I know you just said the Club World Cup, his performance as well too. So I think going off of those two things, for the most part, I think he can definitely still be, again, the goalkeeper we can really rely on. So unfortunate for Petrovic because I think Petrovic, with how he did the season prior, how well he did, I think he was thinking he had almost a foot in the door to being our starting goalkeeper, but realizing that was not going to happen was why we saw him move on. And I think he's still going to do well in the Premier League. I think, again, he's a good goalkeeper. But if I'm looking at, I think Sanchez is better. I think Jorgensen's better. And I think this might be Jorgensen's last year as well because Mike Penders, I think, comes back next season and can then compete for the starting role, if not be our backup goalkeeper. So, like I said, it will be kind of interesting to see what happens with Jorgensen throughout this season for the most part. All right. So, going back to the match here, we're in the 51st minute. Again, what we're seeing here for the most part, Cucurella is pushing up. He's kind of drifting up higher, and we are playing that back. Oh, what a beautiful turn by João Pedro right there. Just watching João Pedro is just, it's fun to watch him play. That has to be a foul. Play on, says the ref. Okay. Um, Cole Palmer trying to feed the ball into, trying to see who that is. Maybe we did make a sub. Maybe I'm mistaken, but it looks like we haven't. But it looks like, again, we are pretty much relying on Tosin being playing in the back with Chalaba. Reece James is kind of pushing up a little bit, but he is still sitting back, whereas Cucurella has been pushing up quite high. But like right now, Reece James is kind of being the player that we are facilitating the ball to on that right side with Pedro Neto. But yeah, I mean, AC Milan can't do too much without the ball, so it's not surprising right now. What's your take on Arsenal this season? I think Arsenal are going to struggle. I think, I mean, part of the reason why it's not because of their signings is just the mentality of taking second and not winning anything multiple years. That if they lose a handful of matches, it's just going to go downhill. And this is my opinion, and maybe it won't happen, but I do think that that's a beautiful ball play across. Sorry, I'll come back to Arsenal. I'm just waiting here to see what happens because it's kind of up in the air as of right now. Reece James with a beautiful bring down right there. But I think with Arsenal right now, if they don't win anything this year, it almost has to be Arteta's last year. Yes, he's been a good ball play across, just missed by missed by Gittins there. Um, if they don't win anything, it's just one of those things you have to think about. Arsenal are then almost taking a step back because last year was definitely a step back. Despite the fact that they made it to the semifinals in the Champions League, still means absolutely nothing, really, when you look at it, because you didn't lift anything. You didn't make it to the final. And like I said, this year, if they get knocked out early on, say in the FA Cup, League Cup, then they really have to rely on the Premier League and the Champions League, which again, I don't see them winning the Champions League. And I don't see them really winning the league this year either. Their depth isn't the best. I mean, if you look at their CBs, their center backs, they only have Saliba and Gabriel. So again, both those guys, if one of them picks up an injury, they're going to be struggling there. Saka has been injury prone, which is why they picked up Noni. But like I said, I think that's a massive downgrade from Saka to Noni. And Gyökeres could do well, but he could still struggle. So like I said, I think Arsenal is still going to have a poor season. Like I said, it could be Arteta's last season as a manager then too. Yeah, he'll be a good asset this season. Just seeing what just happened here. So Chalaba try to make a tackle. I don't know if he just picked up an injury from there. Ooh, yeah, he may have just done his ankle in right there. Great. That means Chalaba may have just picked up an ankle injury. Looks like he just twisted that ankle. He stepped on the AC Milan's foot, and it rolled. And yeah, there's a good possibility he's out now. A very high possibility he's out next week, which I think that means time for Josh Achupong or Fofana. I'm not sure what's going on with Fofana right now. If we're just waiting, but I feel like Fofana should be getting some minutes in this match. Unless he's, I don't think Fofana's out with an injury right now. Right now, Chelsea are currently playing with 10 men as well because Trevor Chalaba getting some treatment on the sideline. But that didn't look good. That did not look good for an ankle injury. And like I said, I would not be surprised if he's now out for next week. And that's a shame because we're trying to go through this match without picking up any injuries. And I think he would have played the full 90 here today. But that now is going to be a huge blow for Chelsea. And because we're playing with 10 men, AC Milan kind of do their tactics again here a little bit. And they are attacking a little bit. We are missing, obviously, our center back here. Rafael just hanging off side right there, so I'm not sure what he's doing there. I was hoping we wouldn't pick up any injuries in this match, but it looks like we might be. Yeah, they're taking them off, which again, they should be taking off Trevor Chalaba with after that. Which, like I said, I'm not sure if Josh is coming in then. That's lovely. What? AC Milan should have scored right there. Definitely a good link up, and now we might hit them on the counter attack. Not that we tried to do that, but looks like it fell perfectly for Cole Palmer, who's going to play the ball to get. That's a poor, poor finish. Again, that's a terrible shot. I'm not sure what he's complaining about. But AC Milan should just score right there. But I believe that was Reece James that came back and stopped the goal from happening. They should have scored, though. So I'm just seeing that's not a good finish by Giddens. It's not a good shot. But yeah, who is? Yeah, it's Reece James. And Reece James again, just showing you his worth right there. Because tracking back, a lot of defenders wouldn't track back; they would just giving up. Reece James definitely again understanding that just keep running and playing and just stopping that attack because that would have easily been a goal for AC Milan. Not bad footwork there. I think he's off. Yeah, he's off. Yep, they're taking Trevor Chalobah off, and curious to see who they bring on here. He is walking off on his own though, so that's good to see. So maybe he will be okay. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a little more of a damaging to the ligaments on that ankle because his ankle definitely, I mean, rolled quite a bit, but he is walking on his own, so that's good to see. It doesn't look like he's limping either, but definitely don't want to take a risk on that anymore, especially when we're in the 57th minute. So why risk hurting Trevor Chalobah anymore? All right, so I don't know. There's one thing I don't like about the zone. They don't show any substitutions. Well, at least my screen's not showing it. Maybe I'm in the wrong version of it, but I didn't see who came on. So if you saw who came on, please let me know. I can't tell from my screen as of right now. But yeah, Chelsea just knocking the ball around right now. Whoever came in, like I said, can't tell who it is. They are just playing the ball, kind of getting his touches in. Is that Josh? I can't tell. I see a 34. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, they're just kind of doing possession right now. No surprise for Chelsea. Just knock the ball around a little bit, get get him back in. Though Cucurella doing a little bit of magic here, and that it's a good strike by Enzo. That actually looked pretty good. And the final for the Community Shield is already over. That doesn't seem right. How is the game over already? Chelsea's up. Didn't they start at 10 o'clock? Or did that game start earlier? But Liverpool won the Community Shield, it looks like. So um, no surprise there. I feel like they were obviously favorites in that match. So not surprising. So yeah, that is Josh is in right now. So again, they're just knocking the ball around. I'll have to go back and watch the live or the highlights for the Community Shield for the Crystal Palace and Liverpool, just to see again what they looked like with Frimpong. Because again, I'm curious to see with their signings and Ekatike, who again I think is a good signing for them. Do want to see what Verts does though for Liverpool. I think he's going to be a guy that could do very very well for them on that wing position. I think they're going to be a hard team to beat, not just because obviously they're the sorry, that was a weird touch. They are the Premier League champions of last year, so they're always going to be a tough team. But I think with the signings that Liverpool have made, they're going to be very difficult to beat. That's a weak touch, yeah. Which again, AC Milan now kind of just going to ping the ball around a little bit here. Um, I feel like we got to make some subs here shortly, though. So I'm not too sure what Enzo's going to try to do here. I believe we got to see some Liam Delap here. Give him at least 30 minutes. I feel like if you do any less than that, it's a disservice to him, unless we're not trying to play him at all, which would be kind of weird. But I think he needs at least 30 minutes running into this match. And I think Jamie Gins should get some time off. I'm just trying to think who else we'd bring in as of right now. I think Santos should come in. Because, like I said, we don't need to run Caicedo for a full 90. I don't think we need to run Reece James for a full 90. Yeah, here we go. So we're making some subs here. Delap's coming in, Malagusto. No surprise here. Yeah. Delap coming in for João Pedro. No surprise there. I mean, it's the right change here. So, like I said, yeah, giving him a full 90, or a full 30, which makes more sense. And then I'm assuming Malagusto is coming on for Reece James. I'm just curious if Cucurella is going to play a full 90 because I don't think he should play full 90 either. But yeah, we're definitely making these subs just to, again, rest some of these players because, again, don't need to play a full 90, but also, oh, Enzo Fernandez is coming off. Interesting. I didn't think he would be coming off. Yeah, Andros Santos, no surprise there. Estavio, I believe, is coming on too. I think we're bringing 4 guys in as of right now. Which, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Cole Palmer coming off. Yeah, makes sense as well. Yeah, this should be interesting. I mean, I wish we would have seen Estavio play with João Pedro up top, but that's all right. I think Chelsea has more chance of winning. Yes, I think they have a very good chance of winning. And Lindelof just showing right off the bat that how aggressive of a player he is. Just completely throwing a shoulder, just letting the defenders know that he is now on the pitch. He is a guy that, again, not that he's exactly like Diego Costa, but he reminds me a little bit of that. Just, again, the aggressiveness, the amount of kind of how much he gets inside players' heads, which again, we need a player like that. And I think that's why it's great to have him as a signing. And I think him and João Pedro, again, will get some minutes together, which when we do that will be kind of interesting to watch. Um, let's see here. Well, Milan kind of got a good team since Modric joined. It changes as a team. I mean, I feel like, though, Modric coming in just really takes the place of Reinerts, who did leave them this year, who, again, was kind of the beating heart of their midfield. So, like for like, but except Modric is now pushing 40, where Reinerts was 27, 28 maybe, somewhere around there. So, again, I think that's a big difference for them. But I do think that they're missing a few different players. And I'm kind of, that looks like a heavy touch or a tackle by Tosin, but I guess it was clean. João Pedro coming at them, driving towards the box, plays the ball across. This should be a goal if we can finish that. Gittins has had his opportunity to score here today and just has not happened, which is quite shocking. I feel like he should have scored by now. This, like I said, do you know what? He should have played that ball to Estavio because whoever that was in AC Milan just put everyone on side, and he could have easily played it off to him. I mean, the goal's there, though. I'm not going to fault him for taking that shot, but he should at least put it on target. That should be on target, to say the least. So the fact that we didn't put on target is a bit shocking, to say the least. But no surprise there. Actually, I'm going to switch this again here. Let's see if I do this again. How's that look? Because now I'm kind of looking at all of them here for the most part. Trying to watch all screens at the same time. And hopefully that way I'm looking at you guys here. House scored the 2 goals of Chelsea. Chelsea scored 2 goals. One was an own goal off a set piece. Reece James played the ball in. And then Kubius, I think his name was, own goal, who then got sent off. And then João Pedro scored off a header crossed by Pedro Neto. So, again, it was a beautiful ball played into João Pedro. I'm going to say that the keeper for AC Milan, Big Mike, should have done better on both occasions. But on the second one, there's not much he could have done. The first one, I don't know why. He was completely rooted to his line and should have came out and probably won the ball. Didn't do anything. And like I said, his defender, I don't think, was ready for it and therefore just dropped him off that knee, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, like I said, Chelsea have been playing well. AC Milan down the 10 men. No surprise that they are struggling a little bit here to do anything. And Chelsea did just make a few different changes here. So I think now we're going to just kind of see them hopefully finish this game up with a clean sheet. But I am kind of hoping that Lindelof does score a goal here. I think that will help his confidence because I know some people were giving him a hard time from the game against Bayern Leverkusen that he didn't score. But I think he still played quite well in that match, despite the fact of not scoring a goal. But overall, I think we should score at least one more goal in this match. Are you going to watch the FC Barcelona match versus Como? I will not be. So I'm chewing some breakfast here yet. I will not be just because I'll be traveling. Usually I don't do live commentating for Chelsea matches. I mean, every now and then I may do a different match, but like I said, I'm a huge Chelsea fan, so that's why we usually do Chelsea lives. Because I was thinking about doing the Community Shield today. Oh, that's a beautiful ball play across by Liam Delap. I don't know if that's a penalty. That might, I was going to say, that looks like a penalty. So Chelsea have a penalty here. So typically I do the Chelsea matches despite if they play on Monday or Friday. I can't do Monday, Friday matches just because of work for the most part. But if they do play on a Saturday, Sunday, we will be doing those matches. Who do you think will win the Ballon d'Or? I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be Dembele, from my understanding. Or I guess I could see Yamal still winning it too. I wouldn't be surprised as well. This again, I think it's more of a popularity contest. When you have great players that play really well, I think defenders sometimes get the short end of it because if you're really thinking about it, Hakimi is probably the right winner for it, but he's not going to win it. Even though again he's had an absolutely phenomenal year for the most part. And Liam Delap looks like he is taking the set piece here for us. So, like I said, we're hoping to see him score a goal here. So this should be again should find the back of that, should give him a little confidence, and therefore, like I said, Chelsea will see us up by 3-0, if not more. I'm not sure what we're doing here, if there's VAR check on this, if that's what's going on here, but we're just kind of waiting here, unless something else is going on here for the most part. I'm not too sure because I feel like we should have already taken the PK here. Are you a coach? I mean, I used to coach. I technically have my license. I'm not sure if it ever expires. I have what was it, D license? I can go all the way up to college, but it's been almost 10 years now. So I do want to get back into coaching at some point, but I do love commentating. I mean, every now and then we do tactics for the most part about what Chelsea have been doing. I just enjoy watching Chelsea play and watching the game itself. Absolutely beautiful taken set or PK there from Liam Delap. You can show what it means to him too. I mean, all the fans too and all the players are definitely congratulating him. That is a big stepping stone for I think him because, like I said, you want your strikers to score goals here. Yes, it's a PK, and I know people are going to say he should be scoring that, but again, a goal is a goal here, and you're just seeing all the players embrace it, giving him huge congratulations. But that was yeah, well struck. Nothing a keeper's in it. No keeper saving that. Like that's just a beautifully hit ball. So much pace on that ball. That is ridiculous, and just so low too. Because Big Mike's pretty good at penalties, but like I said, it just shows what it means to him. Now, hopefully, we can get some other players scoring here, and like I said, maybe he scores another goal here. But like I said, we want both strikers to be scoring goals because that makes competition for both of them. But yeah, the other player too. I mean, you were asking about the Ballon d'Or. I think Mendes is another guy too from PSG. I mean, to me, it has to be a PSG player. I understand they play in the French league, but for what they did in the Champions League and beating all the Premier League teams, which Liverpool I think were heavy favorites, they obviously did what they did to Arsenal, and then they obviously completely destroyed Inter Milan. That has to be someone from there. Now I understand that Barcelona won their domestic treble, so I mean I could see a Barcelona player, but it has to be between Barcelona and a PSG player winning the Ballon d'Or this year. I can't imagine anyone else does win it. But like I said, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to some other random player that, again, maybe shouldn't be winning it. All right, so just trying to see what Chelsea are kind of doing here for the most part. Do you think Chelsea's win against PSG was a fluke? No, it was not. That was, again, you saw exactly what Enzo Maresca can do as a manager. He definitely understood what was needed to be done to beat them. It's not a fluke when you see us playing the ball over the top multiple times in the exact direction where we beat them because it's something that they've been trying to do to other teams where they press so high, especially with Hakimi and Mendes, that leaves these massive gaps out on the sides. And I think we weren't really targeting Hakimi as much just because I think he is a better defender. Not to say, again, Mendes is a good defender as well, but we saw that that was their weak point. And because of that, we just were able to control that game then for the most part. It's a beautiful ball. AC Milan, Ruben Loftus-Cheek can't get the strike on target. And because of that, Chelsea were able to really set up what they wanted to do for the most part. And like I said, once we scored that first goal, it really, I mean, I think that was kind of a shock to PSG. And then we just scored the second goal. And then all of a sudden, like you could tell the players definitely had the confidence. And we give up a goal, which I was hoping we wouldn't see here today. But that's a good through ball. I'm trying to think. if anyone's at fault there. Sanchez getting beaten near post there, but I don't think he could have done anything. That was just smashed pretty hard at him for the most part. I'm not going to say he's at fault for that one. Let me just see here. Ball's kind of played out to the left here. Pedro Neto is defending. He's onside. That's a good ball. You gotta give credit to AC Milan there. I'm not gonna discredit anyone on that. That's just a perfect through ball, weighted perfectly, and then he's smashing that so hard near post that Sanchez can't do much about that. So no clean sheet today, which again is what we were hoping for, but that is what it is. I mean, we're still up 3-1. But like I said, I was hoping for that. Suggestion: add the score to your background. Okay. I can't change the background. I wish I could. Otherwise, I would change that. That's the hard thing about lives, unless there's a way I can change the background. But we're taking a water break as of right now. Andres Santos, definitely want to see what he's able to do these last 20 minutes of the match. And I think Estavio too. I think they're the two players that we definitely want to see them really start linking up play. Yeah. And so we want to see what they're able to do in the midfield. And like I said, I think we're going to get a few other players coming on now. So Asugo, Hato, oh, this will be good. And then Walsh. So we're getting some younger players coming in. I got to assume we're taking off Caicedo. Tyreek George may be coming in as well. So this will look good. A kid coming on the pitch, Walsh, yeah. I think he's, 16 years old? I'll have my commentating on from the match, so I don't want it to overplay over this. But yeah, this is going to be a very young side now. That's going to be the last 20 minutes of the match. But like I said, I definitely want to see what we can do with some of these players for the most part. I think really right now Enzo Maresca is just making sure they just see the game out the last 20 minutes. Nothing too crazy here. Really shouldn't be letting up another goal, though. Let's be real here. This is, like I said, we should be at least scoring one more goal here. And I'm kind of surprised that we're keeping Sanchez on, too. I would have thought for sure he would have came off. Not that, I mean, a goalkeeper's being struggling for too much. Who do you think is the best cam in the world? I mean, when you're looking at attacking midfielders, I feel like it's difficult to say nowadays because you don't have a proper 10 anymore. Most teams play with a 4-3-3. So, yes, you still have players that are more of an attacking midfielder, but it's not what it used to be. Like Ozil, like how he used to sit in that 10 role. You weren't expecting him to defend much, whereas nowadays you want your players to defend. So if you're looking at that, I mean, I got to say Cole Palmer's right there in the list. I think Bruno Fernandes still is one of the best guys. But then you have to look at Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid. All those players, again, they're top-notch. They have their own different attributes. So it's hard to say which one is better than the other. I'm going to say Cole Palmer just with what he's done at Chelsea. But Bruno Fernandes, what he was able to do even last year at United with how poor United was, it's really one of those things that you're thinking about. Now that they've bought more players, he's definitely going to look a lot better. I mean, having Kuna come in and Bomo, they just signed Sesko. Those three signings are going to be massive for Bruno. And then obviously we've seen what Jude Bellingham has done, not just in Real Madrid, but his entire career so far. So he's obviously a guy I would also pick. But so it's one of those three. All right, so we're seeing, again, our younger players here now. I'm not too sure what we're trying to establish here for the most part. I got to assume right now we're just going to try to get everyone to touch the ball here a little bit, get them into the match. Nothing too crazy, just knock the ball around a little bit. And then, so I'm just trying to see here from our starting 11. I think, is Gittin still on or no? I didn't see if he came off. So I think we've rotated everyone off now, which is what we should be doing for the most part. There's no point to play all those men for 90 minutes. And win the ball back here. Have a go. Why not? It's a good strike. It's an absolutely beautiful strike. Gustavio there. Good save, too. We'll give him that. But, yeah, just seize the chance. And, yeah, that's a good hit. I think he's going to be a great player for us this upcoming season. I think we're very fortunate for having him. And we obviously saw what he did for Palmeiras last season and obviously the Club World Cup. So having him right now for Chelsea, I think is going to be a good signing. And like I said, I think Enzo Maresca came out and said that he's going to be utilized for multiple positions. So I do think he may not start right away for us, but he's easily going to be a guy that comes off or comes on and is going to be running at tired legs. And at some point, he will be a guy that's going to be starting for us, which he should be starting for us. Wins the ball back too perfectly. Yeah. He's so creative and he's got the Brazilian flair. I think that went for a goal kick, actually, though. Sorry, I missed here. Do you think Messi could get into this Chelsea team? Current Messi? No. And that's not to disrespect Messi, but Messi doesn't play any type of pressure. He literally walks around the pitch. And that's, I mean, he's so good at attacking wise, he can do that. But what Chelsea now do, they do a high pressure, a Gegen type pressing, which he would not be able to do that for us. And he'd be one of the weaker links for us. Because if you're going to do high pressure, you need your entire 11 pushing up. If you only have two out of the three guys pushing up, it gives them an outlet every single time. So therefore, the high pressure wouldn't work for us. And like I said, they would easily have an outlet, and then they could overpower one side than the other, and just wouldn't work out. Now, if he played as maybe our striker, I mean, I wouldn't be upset, but I think overall he wouldn't fit the system. And I think he would also break our wages. So we definitely don't want that either. All right. So we have about 14 minutes left in this match here. And again, I don't think we're going to have much stoppage time, maybe a minute or two. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, we blow the whistle fairly early. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of surprised with AC Milan that they did stick with their starting 11 for the most part. I would have thought for sure they would have made more subs, but maybe they really need to play this full 90. Malgus just letting that ball run out. Do you think? Oh, yeah, we already mentioned that. So, yeah. So overall, I know someone was asking about Jamie Gittins earlier. I think Gittins played okay this match. I think he started off really well, but as the game progressed, I think it did go a little downhill for him. So maybe that is one thing that people were talking about that you might want to have a little bit more time for him to develop. Because I think once the defenders kind of figured out what he was going to be doing, whether he was going to go down the line or not, he wasn't able to do as well as I thought he was going to do. And he definitely, again, has opportunities. Like I said, probably should have found the back of the net today. Was unfortunate he didn't. That's a lovely through ball play there. Walsh just getting bullied off the ball, though. Yeah, that's a kid on the ball right there. Who's your favorite player all time and currently? I mean, I didn't realize Messi was in here. Favorite player of all time is Michael Ballack. I think, again, just for what he could do. Hold on. We're just going to see what's happening here. Nothing came of it. Ballack, again, is also the reason why I like Bayern Munchen and also why I like Chelsea, because he played for both the sides. So I always watched him play. And again, just a guy that you could rely on as a leader in the midfield, scored some brilliant goals, could take set pieces, and just, again, overall was always fun to watch. Currently now, though, my favorite player, I mean, it's hard not to say Cole Palmer because he is such a good player. But I do really like Verts as well. So I know he plays for Liverpool, which again is one of those things that I hope he doesn't do as well. But he's a good player to watch too. So I gotta say Verts, but for Chelsea it's Cole Palmer because Cole Palmer is just a magician when he has the ball. Everything he does, it still doesn't make sense how he can do some of the things he does with the ball. Curious though, who's your favorite player of all time though? I'm assuming it's going to be Messi, but I'm just curious who it would be. All right, so we got about 12 minutes left here in the match. Like I said, I would say these last 15 minutes or so, not much has happened. I mean, we're now looking at Chelsea's B/C squad, so I'm not expecting too much. A lot of step overs there. That was a lot of step overs. I think that was George, if I'm not mistaken. Which I think he might be on his way out yet. I know Tyreek George was talking about leaving Chelsea or possibly going on loan. And he's onside there. I'm not sure why they're calling him off, but there's no VAR in this. I think he's seeing that he really is the fourth choice as our left wing. So it makes sense that Tyreek George possibly might be on his way out overall. How's it going there, Dennis? So it's a shame because I think last year he did quite well when he came off the bench. He did really well in the Conference League for us. I think, like I said, he has the pace and the ability to be a good player for us. Just isn't the player that can start for us or be our first option coming off the bench. All right, Achapong, Ruben Loftus-Cheek losing possession there. I mean, Chelsea were just swarming him for the most part. George on the ball again here. See what he can do. I think that went out, yeah. Applaud that. But I feel like he is making the wrong decision there. I feel like he should have been knocking the ball back, try to hold possession. I will say that George is more of a direct player, that he does always think about going forward. Can be a problem at some points because sometimes you do want to hold possession, which I think right there we should have held possession. But you can't fault a guy who does want to always go towards goal, though, too. Yeah, we haven't seen much from Estavio here either, so and I don't think we're going to see much in the last 10 minutes. I think AC Milan's just going to knock the ball around, too. Trying to roll it from the back. Just seeing what they're doing here. Playing out on that. Ruben Loftus-Cheek again, just doing well. And happy to see him play well. And hopefully, like I said, he stays fully fit for AC Milan. But Rafael Leao, I think, has had a pretty poor match as well for how good of a player he should be. But like I said, I feel like his skill set has fallen off a cliff from the last 2 or 3 years for the most part. Ball played out, yeah. Robert Sanchez has that. Playing out to Malagusto, which we're not even really pushing any of our defenders up too high anymore either. So I think we really are just letting George kind of run at it for the most part. Walsh with the ball here in the midfield, just holding up a play. Santos, which I guess, if I'm not mistaken, that means Lavia is still hurt then. I didn't check if he was fully fit for this match, but I would assume if he was fit, he would have played some minutes in this game, which is a shame because I think he is a good midfielder for us. And if he is fully fit, I think him and Caicedo can definitely hold the midfield. And like I said, we can do a little bit different tactics and formation with him in the midfield. It's just a shame that he is made of glass as of right now, because I think he's had maybe a run of 2 or 3 matches where he's been fully fit. But when he has been fit, like I said, he has been arguably one of our best players on the pitch. And like I said, he then frees up Caicedo to do more, and Caicedo allows him to do more than too. Estavio whipping the ball across the face of goal, and Santos just couldn't do anything with it. I mean, that ball was hit hard too. Yeah, it went off his left foot there. He's teasing that ball in front of him for the most part. He's just hoping that challenge comes in. It didn't, but which if the challenge doesn't come in, he's then able to whip the ball in like he just did right there. Which again, he is obviously oozing confidence right now, and he should. He's been playing so well. Mal Gusto winning the ball back for us. Really, AC Milan haven't had much of an answer today. I know they have that one goal, which, like I said, give credit to that goal. But overall, they haven't been doing much in this match, to say the least. So, down to our manager. Sorry, definitely a fluke. That was down to their manager. We played their game and beat them. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Chelsea. Sorry, I just saw that. I'm not sure why it didn't come in for the most part, unless my screen was messing with it. You can tell that guy's had a long match today just because of what we've all had out on our right side. He's been running rampant. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. I'm not going to lie. 56 for AC Milan. Has been dealing with so many players on that right side. I mean, dealt with Pedro Neto, Reece James, Estavio now. It just, you got to feel bad for him for the most part. All right. Let's see here. That's got to be a foul. Yeah. Kicking the ball away. I'm sure he'll pick up a card for that. You can just tell how frustrated he's been. All right, AC Milan making a few changes here. I mean, I'm not sure why they waited till 6 minutes left of the match. It seems like a bizarre time to make a sub. Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming off. I think he's going to get applause here from Stamford Bridge, being an academy player for Chelsea. Like I said, it's unfortunate. Yeah, he's getting a standing ovation. It's unfortunate for him for the injury he picked up about 6 years ago. After that, he was never the same player for Chelsea. So unfortunate for him, but glad to see he's still playing and doing well. But he was a guy that, I mean, we could have built a team around too. He was such a good player. That switches back over here for the most part. Yeah. And they took off 56. You can definitely tell, like I said, he was just completely gassed for the most part. So Stavio Malagusta is pushing up a little bit higher now. I think right now, the last 5 minutes of this match, I think it's just going to be work the ball to Estavio and see what he can do with the ball. Just give him a few more touches. Not sure how that's not a corner kick, but they're giving a goal kick for it. Overall, I mean, we will say this was a match that Chelsea, like I said, was expecting to score multiple goals. We saw multiple goals. Came very early on, and then obviously the red card made a huge difference in this match. So once the red card happened, I mean, there wasn't much that AC Milan did in this entire match. I'm not sure how that's a foul on us right there. But like I said, now we can go into next week for the opener against Crystal Palace. Winning both of our friendlies, I think, is a big positive too. That's not a foul either. Um, we now, I'm not even sure how many matches we've won now in a row. For counting Club World Cup. Granted, we lost one match against Flamengo. I told you João Pedro would score. He did. Welcome back, by the way. I told you. Yeah, I think again he's a great player, but minus yeah, like I said, the match that we lost in the Club World Cup, we have been looking great. Um, and like I said, we now just constantly. I keep thinking we're building, building, building. And like I said, I feel bad for Crystal Palace. They have to play us for their first match of the season, but I think, like I said, we should be beating them 3-4 nil for the most part. And he did in the 8th minute, yes. I mean, he probably could have scored another goal, but we took him off in the 60th minute, so no surprise there. Can't wait for this new season. Back to the bridge. Yeah, again, this season, not just for Chelsea, I think this is going to be a fun season for the entire Premier League. Now, granted, if you're a team that just got promoted, maybe not so much, but like I said, I think there's been so many new signings. There's been a bit of a changing of the guard with some of the players that used to be here in the Premier League. I think like Kevin De Bruyne, who now is not here anymore. A terrible touch by the goalkeeper there. And like I said, I think it's going to be a toss up between Man City, Liverpool. I think Chelsea are in the race for the title this year. You could easily throw Arsenal in there. I think Newcastle still could have a possibility pushing top four. Aston Villa. So again, there's plenty of teams I think are going to make this season a lot of fun. And like I said, I think Chelsea, with the depth that we have, the players that we have, we should be doing quite well. Honestly, I think Chelsea are going to be serious fighting for the title this season. Yeah, I think so as well. Like I said, we should go out and be winning the first handful of matches. Just seeing what's happening here. We were getting a little bit closer to attacking there. Oh, I guess Tosin. All right, sorry, I apologize earlier. Tosin's the only guy that's still on the pitch, minus Sanchez, that played a full 90, which I'm kind of surprised that Tosin played a full 90. But yes, we should be competing for it. And I do, like I said, I think we can beat Liverpool. I think we can beat City. We can beat Arsenal. We can beat any team in the Premier League. And because of that, like I said, we should be able to win the league itself. But injuries happen. Things can easily happen. We've already had one big injury to Levi Colwell. Hate to see if we pick up another injury. It could easily happen. And like I said, that could really derail the entire season for the most part. Newcastle probably going to be fifth. I think so. I mean, it all depends on who Newcastle sign. That's the big part, because if they don't sign anyone, lose Isak, I could see them really struggling for the most part to really find anyone that can score goals for them. Whether, again, they could possibly go with the two up top with Gordon and Alanga. I could see them doing that and somehow doing some type of formation like a 4-1-2-1-2, which wouldn't surprise me either. Having like Bruno Guimaraes as the holding CDM, that would make sense. And then obviously having their attacking players who they have. Oh, here we go. That should be a goal. Yes, beautiful link of play. Liam Delop with the brace. You gotta give it credit to Estavio though. That was Andros Santos. Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought that was Estavio. Had played the ball to him. That one touch pass right there, absolutely beautiful. That nothing that could have happened right there with the defender. So, like I said, we're seeing Chelsea. They're so good at being lethal in front of the goal now. Like, it's been a while since we've had players like these guys that can score goals time and time again. So yeah, who I think that's Malagusto that played. That's a beautiful ball by Malagusto too. Just breaking so many lines with that. And there's such a big pocket of space for that. But it's literally it's a one touch pass, one touch finish by Liam Delop there. Keeper probably again should be doing better there. I'm gonna say AC Milan keeper wise should have probably saved three of the four shots here today or goals. I think he had a stinker of a match today. I'm not gonna lie. So maybe it's a good thing we did not sign him, and that's the match itself. Which again, no surprise here. Chelsea winning calm and coolly again as it should have done. So that is the live today. I hope you guys enjoyed the live. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Chelsea. We will be back next week against Crystal Palace. So happy Delap is scoring. Yeah, it's happy to see him scoring as well. We will be back next week for a Crystal Palace match. So if you are new, make sure to like, subscribe to this channel. I greatly appreciate it. We obviously do videos here and there, so check those videos out. And then we also do lives throughout the week. We're probably going to do at least one more live, if not two more, before the season kicks off. I want to do another predicting how the table will end up for the Premier League, but I also want to do a few other lives as well. So we will see if we get all those in before the first match. If not, we'll have other ones throughout the entire season. So thank you again for watching with us. Hope you guys enjoyed the match. I will see you in the next one. Cheers, mate. I'm a season ticket holder for home games, so maybe away matches. I'm jealous. I wish I had season tickets, but I live in the States, so I'll be jealous of you. But enjoy all the home matches this year. I wish I could make it to one. Hopefully at some point. We'll see though. So, all right. We'll see you in the next one though.